Hey everybody! Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. On this video series that I'm going to call Not Quite There, we're going to look at a deck that I've been tinkering with that I think at its core is doing something cool and powerful, but hasn't completely come together as a really good deck yet. So today I'm playing a Jeskai mid-range deck, and to explain where this came from, we're going to talk a little bit about the mana in Standard. So one of the weird things about Standard is that we only have half of the shock lands. And what this means is that each color only gets two of its colors, only gets two dual lands for it from the shock lands. So in this case, if you are playing Jeskai, the only red shock lands you get are blue and white. But because we do have so many dual lands, what this actually means is that if you pick a heavy base color and two splashes, you can actually play the really heavy mana symbol cards for your base color alongside powerful gold cards not necessarily in your base color. In this case, of course, what I'm referring to is Goblin Chainwhirler, a very powerful threat and also a great reactive card because it can sweep up the board and a 3/3 first strike blocks very well. But because we have so many dual lands, we're playing 21 red sources, which is enough for the Chainwhirler. We're going to be able to cast it pretty reliably, but we also have both 12 blue and 12 white in our deck, which is enough to play cards like Ionize, Justice Strike, and the main reason to do something this silly is Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Teferi is probably the most powerful card in Standard, and it isn't even that close. No one really measures up to this. And so being able to pair our giant late-game card advantage Planeswalker with more powerful cards on the ground instead of the kind of mopey reactive cards that a lot of the blue-white decks are playing is very appealing. Another reason to do this, to go with the heavy base red, is because this deck can actually close games. Teferi is an excellent card, but Teferi needs a little bit of help. These red cards, whether it be Chainwhirler, Legion Warboss, or Rekindling Phoenix, can just kill the opponent quite quickly, and so you don't need to worry about playing a Teferi but then your opponent's sticking a Carnage Tyrant, or something like that. You can just kill them in the air. And the other strength that makes me really interested in getting something like this to work is that all of our cards are just generically good. If you're playing a blue-based control deck, you have to play a lot of conditional counters right now, whether that be Essence Scatter, or Negate, or Syncopate, or things that just don't always work. We have a little bit of spot removal that only works against creatures, but otherwise all of our cards are good against everyone. Threats are always great. There's no such thing as the wrong threat, it will just always do what it's supposed to do, which is close the game. We have Ionize, which is a non-conditional hard counter, will trade with anything the opponent wants to do. Ixalan's Biting gets rid of any non-land permanent, so that's fine. And Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, can interact with absolutely anything, and also is just card advantage, even if interacting with the board isn't good. And then Explosion is just card draw and a removal spell / win condition, so that is also great. So now I've explained why I think this deck is doing something cool. We'll move on to the problems. One of the issues that this deck has, and why you won't see something like this played very often, is that there's a lot of internal tension. We have Ionize, which is great to hold up and trade with whatever they're doing and get in a little bit of chip damage, but we don't have any flash threats. We don't have a Torrential Gearhulk or even something like Chemister's Insight to get ahead on cards. In place of those things, we are playing actually resilient, powerful threats on their own, like Rekindling Phoenix and Chainwhirler, but that means if we hold up Ionize and they don't cast anything, we're just kind of sunk. We don't get to do anything else. And finally, this is a bit of a fuzzier issue, but this deck can just be really hard to play. You need to be able to assess your role and figure out what to do on a given turn. If your opponent plays a 2/1 out of a green deck, and you think they might be casting Steelleaf Champion next turn, do you hold up Ionize? You kind of want to, because you want to get rid of the Steelleaf Champion, but you're not a hard control deck, you don't have many sweepers, you can't just wait forever, so you do want to play the Chainwhirler and clear out their 2/1, and it can be really tough to figure out exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and that's a problem that a regular control deck just doesn't have, because you're the control role, you sit back and slow down the game. So, to illustrate the deck, I think I'm going to run it through one best of one, It won't tell us that much, but you can get to see both some of the powerful things the deck does and maybe some of its weaknesses. So I'll be right back with that. Alright, getting into our game. I've played some amount with this deck, and I'm actually undefeated with it, but they were all victories that made me question what exactly I was doing with myself. This hand is great. Card advantage, good removal spells, great threat. Just awesome. We have one of our very few lands that can't cast a Chainwhirler, but that's fine. U2 Lava Runner, alright. Oh, and now we can set up to cast the Chainwhirler. I don't think I'm going to be Justice Striking this turn. I want to go ahead and get Search for Azcanta down right now and start working on the card selection from that. If opponent plays a Runaway Steamkin here, we're going to really want to dig for... Ooh. I don't actually hate that at all. Go ahead and play our Mountain, and we can pass here. This is one of the matchups where I'm glad to be the type of deck that we are. I can both react with my opponent, hinder what they're doing a little bit, but we also just get to close the game really fast. Rekindling Phoenix will end the game, whereas another similar card might not have. There are no blocks. So, question is what we want to do here. I think what I'm going to do, I'll wait to Ionize something later. I'm going to take 4 from the risk factor, which will put us down to 12, but now this is a 2-2, so my Justice Strike can kill it. So we've got their board clear, and we're going to be able to stick our Phoenix. Huh, do we want a second Phoenix? Yeah, I think we've got enough reactive cards, and we've got our 4th land already. If they have, like, a Lava Coil or something, we're going to want to be able to keep working on closing the game. See what they do here. Ionize also great because we don't necessarily need to counter the next spell they cast. We probably just need to counter a spell. Once we get our Phoenixes going and kill them real quickly. Okay, that is fine. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the graveyard. I don't think we need that. Okay, 3rd Phoenix, not exactly what we're looking for. I am going to play a 2nd Phoenix because, importantly, it changes the clock by an entire turn. This way we can attack for 8 and then 8 to try and close the game out. It does leave us vulnerable here. If they have something powerful, we would be in trouble, but that doesn't really count. Blockers, I will go down to 6. Importantly, they had 3 up, so we don't want to block the Chainwhirler, since our Phoenix would die, and then another Chainwhirler would kill us. Huh, is that good enough? I don't think so. Especially because we didn't have a 5th land, so. So, what do we do here? This is an interesting question. I think we are attacking for 8. Like I said, we want to put them on a 1-turn clock to kill us. The question is what we do after that. We could Ixalan's Binding to get rid of the Chainwhirler, and then let them draw 3 cards off of the risk factor. Hope that they can't... They would only need to deal 4 to us, though? That's not great. Maybe we do have to slow down here a little. Yeah, I think... I went through all the lines, and I don't think we were going to be able to close the game effectively if we attacked with both. So, the question now... They're going to flashback risk factor. Letting them draw 3 cards is nasty, but I don't know really a good way around it. Playing the Phoenix and attempting to block does seem actually attractive then, because that would let us threaten lethal next turn if they can't kill at least one of them. Again, here, this is illustrating both the strengths and the tensions of the deck. We're closing really fast. I think we have to let them draw 3 cards here. It's really gross. It puts them up to 5 in hand, but if we go to 4, or if we go to 2, there's so many things that kill us, so. Yeah, we have great closing speed. We're finishing the game much faster than if we were playing blue-white control. Oh, did they just draw 2 burn spells? Yeah! Even if we'd left up Ionize and countered the risk factor, we were still probably dead there. But yeah, that shows both the strengths and weaknesses of the deck pretty well, I think. So yeah, if you have any comments, if you think you know how to fix the deck, or any suggestions that could make it better, I would love to hear them, because I would love to make something like this try and work. Oh, and one last thing. In addition to commenting below, I would love it if you enjoyed this video, if you could subscribe to the channel. I would love to keep content like this flowing, in addition to full deck techs with longer matches and things like that. And it really helps the channel to grow and other people to see it if you can subscribe. Alright, that's it for this one. I will talk to you later. Goodbye.